then you top it off by harping on this mysterious spiritual experience of yours. He says, no, Bill, you've got the cart before the horse. You've got to deflate these people first. Crack those tough egos deep down. Deflation of the ego. Deflation of the ego. The secret. Many times it's the secret that's hidden in plain sight.
Welcome to Aloha Speaks, home of Malama Aloha Pono with Alexander Noman.
Aloha, Alex here. And there is so much going on with this topic, the secret. And I put a little S there because there are two aspects to this secret, which is in parentheses, it says what. The secret is what. And that's regarding what to admit. And that's in the parentheses too, the word admit, but there's also the word where. So those are the two, what, where. And regarding admit, I'm going to have to drill down on that. But in the first word in the parentheses is Dr. Silkworth. Now that's in the realm of AA, and it's paralleling the Malama Aloha Pono. And just as I hit the record button, I'm sitting there going, wait a second, this Malama Aloha Pono, it parallels not only AA, it parallels the Four Agreements, it parallels Byron Katie's work, and it hit me, it parallels Ho'oponopono. And that's four, because Malama Aloha Pono is 6 segments, and there are 4 things in Ho'oponopono, which is, I'm sorry, please forgive me, or forgive me, I love you, thank you. Now, there's more to be said about those things, but that's what Ho'oponopono is, except that's the new version. There's an older version that requires a mediator. I'm not going to get into any of that, but there's a parallel to many different formats. Ho'oponopono, the way of Pono, two people. It involves 2 people getting right with each other. Pono, right. So Malama Aloha Pono is that care, Malama, care, Aloha, that oneness, that acknowledgement of one unity. And then Pono is, it's not 2, it's 1 with myself, being Pono, but in that realm of unity. So there's an acknowledgement of that it does affect relationships. So not wanting to get complicated, it's a simple thing. Where are my resistances? And so the secret for me, because I'm sitting here saying, okay, AA is about alcoholism. For me, it touches all aspects, because I'm going to also parallel this alcoholism, and it can be anything. It can be like drug addiction. It can be gambling. It can be cigarette addiction or nicotine addiction. It can be sugar addiction. All of the things, sex addiction. I'm saying relationship addiction. Okay, so I'm going to parallel to, for me, my experience, because all of those things I have issues with, but I'm going to talk about relationship, which could be codependency, yeah. But just say with relationships, addiction in relationships, that's going to fix me. And that it has power over me in that realm. But alcohol, AA, applying to that. Because Dr. Silkworth, here's where it comes in, is talked about in the book Alcoholics Anonymous Comes of Age. And I think I've read this once before, but I'm going to do a little briefer version. When Bill W., the founder of AA, the co-founder, prior to meeting the other co-founder, when he had not yet met Dr. Bob, the other co-founder, he had been sober 6 months, trying to get other people sober. I'm failing. And Dr. Silkworth was his medical doctor that was helping him. And he had so much experience working with alcoholics for years and years and years. Tens of thousands. He was on his way to Akron. This is where he would meet Dr. Bob, but he was failing. Dr. Bob says to him, "You're not failing, you're staying sober." But he says, just before leaving for Akron, he was in New York, Dr. Silkworth had given me, this is Bill W. writing this, a great piece of advice. Without it, AA might never have been born. And AA has been, because once there was the Washingtonian Society, long time, years and years before AA existed, Washingtonian Society had 500, it had grown to 500,000 sober members, and poof, it disappeared. Now, AA now has over 2 million, plus all the other 12-step programs. What's the difference? Because they had gone off track and they disappeared. So the fact that it was born and it's still existing today is fantastic. Otherwise, I'd be SOL. So he says, "Look, Bill," Dr. Silkworth says, "Look, Bill, you're having nothing but failure." So he's acknowledging the failure. "Because you're preaching at these alcoholics." See, there's an issue going on with this spiritual stuff I hear in the meetings all the time, and I've heard it all over these last 14 years. It's a spiritual program. It's a spiritual program. I don't see that anywhere in the book of AA. It's a spiritual program, but there's a lot of God in there, but it's a spiritual program, and he's saying, because you're preaching at these alcoholics, you're talking to them about this is on page 67 of the AA Comes to Age, and then up to page 68, you're preaching, talking to them about the Oxford Group precepts, because that's what it was based on originally, of being absolutely honest, absolutely pure, absolutely unselfish, and absolutely loving. This is a very big order. Then you top it off by harping on this mysterious spiritual experience of yours that Bill W. had when he first got sober. Everybody doesn't have that big flashing white light, but Bill W. did, and he's like harping on that. So then he says, "No, Bill, you've got the cart before the horse. You've got to deflate these people first. So give them the medical business and give it to them hard. pour it right into them about the obsession that condemns them to drink and the physical sensitivity or allergy of the body that condemns them to go mad or die if they keep on drinking. Coming from another alcoholic, one alcoholic to another, maybe that will crack those tough egos deep down. Dr. Silkworth knew it was about the ego deflation. And because of that, that's why Bill W. said, glad he gave that advice before he went to Akron, because that is what changed everything for his approach to when he finally met with Dr. Bob. That I won't get into that story. That's an amazing story. How he almost didn't even get to meet with Dr. Bob. He was so wasted, but he got to him the next day, and they were supposed to meet for 15 minutes, and because he came with that new approach, he hooked him. Deflation of the ego. Deflation of the ego. So the secret, this is it's many times it's the secret that's hidden in plain sight. But what does everybody talk about in the meetings? Not everybody, that's a hyperbolic word. What is so often talked about so often is spiritual. It's a spiritual program. It's a spiritual program. Prayer, 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 prayer. Let's pray about this, pray about that. Where's the ego deflation in that? I don't want to deflate my ego. It's so easy to pray. That there's no issue with, sure, I'll pray. Nothing to that, because I don't have to deflate my ego for that. Piece of cake. What the admitting is about, and it says it in so many places, it says it there, then I usually talk about the pages 60 where the actual deflation takes place on page 67. But back on page 30, because it applies to another book, I'll get to 12 and 12. On page 30, where it's more about alcoholism, because I don't even want to admit I'm an alcoholic, the first line says, most of us have been unwilling to admit. There it is, admit. We were real, and I have that underlined, real alcoholics. That's the issue right there. What is the admitting? In Malama Aloha Pono, segment 1 is admit / honesty. Honest. But that applies to all 6 segments. It's not separated out. It's everything. Not just the honesty, the admitting, because it is my biggest challenge to this day. And it's not just about, but it includes the alcoholic, i.e., relationship. Because here's how it looks alcoholically. Here are some of the methods. So despite all we can say, many who are real alcoholics are not going to believe they are in that class. By every form of self-deception and experimentation, they will try to prove themselves exceptions to the rule. Therefore, non-alcoholic. A lifetime of that. Here's how some of it shows up. Here are the methods they have tried. This is on the next page from page 30. This is now page 31 in the book of Alcoholics Anonymous. Drinking beer only. Limiting the number of drinks. Never drinking alone. Never drinking in the morning. Drinking only at home. Never having it in the house. Never drinking during business hours, drinking only at parties, switching from scotch to brandy, drinking only natural wines, agreeing to resign if ever drunk on the job, taking a trip, not taking a trip, swearing off forever, with and without a solemn oath, taking more physical exercise, reading inspirational books, going to health farms and sanitariums. What does it look like with relationships? Same addiction, because it's misery, it's suffering. I will do this. I will promise this. I will change this. I will swear it off and end up going back. I will do this differently. I will do that differently. It goes ad on infinitum, and still suffer, suffer, suffer. What's not happening is the admitting. What am I not admitting? I'm not admitting I am the alcoholic, the real alcoholic. And then one thing that's not happening in segment 2 of Malama Aloha Pono is it's not about mastering even an art, because maybe it can be an art, but listening, I'm not even going to do the listening thing, but it requires the active listening is me asking, did I get you right? Repeating back what they say and saying, did I hear you correctly? Without trying to say, I agree with you or not. It's not about that I agree with you or disagree. It's just like, did I get what you said? So difficult for someone like me that's so judgmental. Listening has to become part of what's not there, part of the equation, so that the admitting of what is really going on, and writing is required in answering, where am I selfish, I have gone over it, where am I dishonest, where am I, this is the where am I self-seeking, the pride, where am I frightened, the fear. So I can say, after answering all those phrases, quick phrases, where am I to blame? Then that's what I'm admitting, is where it is I am to blame, so that I can end up. The subconscious one I keep skipping over, but that subconscious is so powerful, it doesn't want me to admit where it is I am wrong. It's about even admitting I'm wrong at all, because I don't want to do that either. All the way back in the 12 and 12, I said I was going to do that book too. It's only about that step 1 chapter, the very first sentence, who cares to admit complete defeat. And I used to say, who cares to admit anything? But it's not anything. It's who cares to admit anything that will deflate the ego. And that is where I'm wrong. So that's the what. And that is the big secret hidden in plain sight. What a blessing. Aloha.